Straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. The Formula One crisis is not halting. After Christian Horner and Red Bull, the FIA president is now under fire. We'll get you all the details in just a bit, including Horner's olive branch to the Verstappens. In cricket, Aussie Pat Cummins is named Hyderabad IPL franchise captain. He's been one of the most successful skippers for Australia of late, but does the move make sense? Or is Hyderabad missing a trick again? And racism rears its head once more. The Aussie football captain Sam Kerr has been charged instead with racist harassment. The coach and CEO of the Australian team say that they had no clue. All of that coming up, but first, a look at the headlines in Sports 360. We'll start with football. Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr suffered a narrow loss in the Asian Champions League. They lost to Saudi club Al Ain 1-0 in the first leg of the quarterfinal. Moroccan forward Soufiane Rahimi netted the goal during the first half. Al Ain dominated Al Nassr stars Ronaldo and Sadio Mane throughout the game. The two sides will clash again on the 12th of March. Arsenal kept pace with table toppers Liverpool and Manchester City in the Premier League. Arsenal hammered Sheffield United 6-0 in the match last night. The Gunners had taken an unassailable 5-0 lead within the first half itself. Arsenal scored one more goal in second half to stay third in the Premier League standings. Arsenal and City are now just separated by 1 point. National Football League or the NFL star Jason Kelce has called time on the 13-year-long career. Kelce, who played for Philadelphia Eagles all his life, announced his retirement from the sport just yesterday. Jason Kelce won the 2017 season Super Bowl with Philadelphia Eagles. In tennis, Andrei Rublev's ranking points and prize money has been reinstated after an appeal. He had been disqualified from the Dubai Tennis Championships when he'd had an ugly spat with a line judge during his semi-final match. Rublev had appealed to ATP to look into the matter. Andrei Rublev's ranking points and prize money reinstated right now. That's where it stands. Over in table tennis, India captured quotas for the 2024 Paris Olympics in table tennis team events. Both the men and women's team obtained the quotas through world rankings. It was confirmed by the International Table Tennis Federation on the 4th of March. They're set to feature on the grand stage for the very first time. Last year in Formula One was all about Max Verstappen, and this year is becoming all about Red Bull and the team principal Christian Horner. It is quite frustrating now, and this drama that is unfolding every day has definitely put a lot of the officials, team owners and drivers on edge, almost saying, let's get on with the races already. Or so they thought. But now the FIA has also been facing some heat, particularly the president, Mohammed bin Sulayem. He's under investigation now. But I'll come to that in just a bit because the Horner saga is still developing. The email leak that supposedly contained personal, intimate conversations between the team principal and the female employee who had accused him of inappropriate behavior has thrown the case wide open. There have been constant banter and whiplashes coming up post that. The latest was Max Verstappen's father, Jos Verstappen, wanting Christian Horner gone. I'm certain many outside would think this not to be too serious because it is not coming from Max Verstappen himself. But now that's where you're wrong, which brings me to what's happened following that remark by Verstappen Sr. According to reports, Christian Horner met with Max Verstappen's representatives in Dubai. The meeting comes right after Verstappen Sr. said Red Bull will explode if Horner remains at the helm of affairs, and that's what he meant. Horner and Red Bull, of course, realize how serious the statement is. Horner realizes where this could lead. If it comes from Verstappen Sr., then somewhere Max is an invested party in this opinion too. So this meeting was set up surely in a bid to iron out escalating tensions at Red Bull. An olive branch to smooth things over, if it may, to try and unruffle the feathers. I understand Horner's situation. He wouldn't want to upset the world champion and the lead driver in his team, who has just won him the inaugural race, the Bahrain Grand Prix. in the middle of growing murmurs of disapproval from rival teams and the most powerful voices within. I'm referring to Verstappen Sr., of course, calling for honours ahead. But here's the catch. Neither Jos nor his son Max Verstappen were present in the meeting. It was Verstappen's manager, Raymond Vermeulen, who acted on Max's behalf to be present there. It's believed that the talks went well, that's what reports say, as other senior officials were present too. And somewhere there will be a clamour for the Red Bull investigation to be made public. Because a top team like Red Bull going through such a turmoil within its system is bound to impact the sport. We've been saying it over the last few days now. The credibility of the sport is at stake here. And that brings me to the FIA now and its president, who are anyway coming under fire for this Red Bull matter, for letting it all happen within the team and not asking the right questions or more questions or enough questions as it is. But there's more. The FIA president is reportedly being investigated because he has been accused of interfering with the result of a Formula One race. Now, this is massive. The motorsport governing body's compliance officer, Paolo Basari, submitted a report to the ethics committee. And in that report, it is stated that Ben Sulayem acted in authority to overturn a 10-second penalty. Remember the penalty given to Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso at the 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix? That one. That's a serious allegation. The report submitted claims that Ben Sulayem called the FIA's vice president for the Middle East in an official capacity to overturn that penalty. That penalty brought Alonso to 4th position. But once it was revoked by Sulayem himself, Alonso was able to finish 3rd, a podium finish. Mercedes driver George Russell would have moved up to 3rd place if Alonso's penalty had stood. So yes, the decision did impact a lot of scenarios thereon. Ben Sulayem and the FIA have obviously not responded on the matter just yet. Clearly, very intense days lie ahead. If the Christian Horner drama is not doing enough to bring the sport into the kind of spotlight that it doesn't wish to, then FIA president's alleged involvement in a matter that has had a domino effect could worsen the case. We'll watch this space, of course, for more. Now, how do you feel about change? Now, I don't like too many changes, to be honest, and especially at a rate that it goes too fast. There is something about familiarity. You see something or someone for a while and you get used to it. It's like muscle memory in sports, doing the same things over and over again consistently to just get better at it. Now, when it comes to cricket and the IPL, which is around the corner, one team has pretty much proved this point: Chennai Super Kings. One captain for every year, time and again, and yes, no one is tired of it, at least not yet. And of course, it helps when he happens to be one of the best captains the sport has produced, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So familiarity and consistency have their place. One team that is struggling, though, to be consistent or groom familiarity is the Hyderabad franchise. Nothing personal against the setup, but just last night, they announced their 3rd captain in as many years. The Sunrisers Hyderabad IPL team have announced Pat Cummins as their captain for the year 2024. I guess somewhere this was waiting to happen. We said it in as many words right after the auction in December last year. And yes, in a way, it makes sense. When you shell out $2.4 million, you want that player to give back as much as he can on the field. So it was clear that Pat Cummins will not just have to roll his arm and swing his bat around. He will have to lead the side too. I spoke to former India player Irfan Pathan, who resonated with this thought right after the auctions took place.
What I don't understand is Pat Cummins going for 20 CR. Because if you look at it, in T20 for Australia as well, he hasn't done that great. If you look at his IPL numbers as well, he hasn't done that well. A lot of people are mixing the two things, one-day cricket and T20 cricket. Yes, he has done greatly well when it comes to leading the side of Australia, leading 50-over format. And he was fantastic, and credit to him the way he handled it. And he can bat as well, I understand. But he has not done that great in T20 cricket. And Hyderabad is going after him probably not just because of his skill, but because of his leadership quality as well. So, they're going after him for 20 CR. I'm not too sure.
Here's the thing about captaincy. It's great when you're winning, not so much when you're losing. And Hyderabad has had its share of skippers and its share of losses. We'll come to the losses in a bit. They've had a lot of captains, and I'm, of course, referring to the setup since the ownership switched hands in 2013. You see that list on your screen and you know the longest run anyone has had at the helm has been another Aussie, David Warner, 2015 to 2021-22, where he took Hyderabad to a title win, their first and only one in 2016. Kane Williamson, of course, took over as captain. David Warner had a bad fallout with the Hyderabad franchise and he moved out. Even if we did not know this, Warner made it explicitly clear, of course, when he put up a story saying Hyderabad franchise had blocked him on social media platforms. They had Manish Pandey captain a whole season in 2021. Then, of course, more changes. Aiden Markram was brought in as skipper. Now, he may have had the golden touch as far as the Hyderabad franchise in the South Africa T20 League is concerned, but IPL is a different monster. And to tame this one is not easy, and the team finishes post the Warner and Williamson era have been abysmal. In the last 3 years, they have finished bottom of the table on 2 occasions and 8th on the other one. So I understand the need to change, but why the shake-up and the complete overhaul? I wouldn't get that. So now, not just the captain, but say hello to a brand new coaching staff too. Brian Lara has given way to Daniel Vettori as head coach. Dale Steyn has exited the building, and another Kiwi in James Franklin has taken charge. A Kiwi with an Aussie captain. Sure, if the Warner-Williamson partnership worked for the Hyderabad franchise, I get where they are heading with this one. And look, Pat Cummins has had a phenomenal year in the national setup for Australia. He's led them to a World Test Championship title, an away Ashes retention, and an ODI World Cup win. Australia men's cricket team was one of the strongest last year. So some credit to keep things smooth must go to Cummins. So I see the temptation to say, okay, he touched and things turned to gold, so maybe the yellow jersey at the helm in Hyderabad should do the trick this year too, as it did with David Warner. So it makes sense. But here are the things I do not get, things that do not make sense. Pat Cummins has not spearheaded a T20 side. But I get this is a minor point to make. The weight a captain carries or brings to a T20 match is arguable and has been debated now for a while. But here's the larger concern. The franchise has invested and done so considerably, and I mean monetarily, in foreign players. So apart from Pat Cummins, in the ranks, they have Aiden Markram, Henry Klaasen, Wanindu Hasaranga, Travis Head, Fazal Haq Faruqi, Marco Jansen and Glenn Phillips. These are quality players who've had solid performances behind them in their national sides as well as in the T20 leagues. IPL is an Indian T20 league where there is a cap on the number of foreign players allowed, only 4. Now, of course, with the impact player rule, a 5th foreign player stands a chance to play half a match. So with you fielding Cummins as captain, you have just 3 slots to fill and finalize. So all the best trying to figure out and experiment who those 3 can be. Of course, horses for courses is the way to go, but that too takes time. And somewhere you want a consistent 11 to sink in and get the job done for you. But who knows, maybe it'll work and they'll crack the code. But it just leaves too many ifs and buts in the system, which is only resulting in the process not being simple. And simple works. That's how teams win titles. But then again, Hyderabad has never believed in simple all these years. So here goes another interesting season with more experiments to follow. My verdict on this one, yes, it makes sense to make one of the most expensive buys as your captain, but at what cost? If I had to sum this up, the management seems to have made this decision with their hands tied. Then again, they ended up tying their own hands at the auction table. Now, racism has had its impact in the sporting world too. We thought we've possibly done away with it, but we continue to see instances that suggest it continues to exist, even in 2024. Despite the different campaigns and strong voices sending out a message. Matters escalate when the biggest of faces, the cream of the crop, are involved. Australian women's football team captain and Chelsea striker Samantha May Kerr, who's often in the news for her footballing prowess and Ballon d'Or nominations, is currently grabbing the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Kerr is in the news for racially aggravated harassment. That's what the alleged charge is. She wasn't subjected to it. It's alleged that she caused it. Australia's sporting hero Sam Kerr is being charged with racial harassment.
Samantha May Kerr, a football icon and one of the greatest strikers on the planet. She is one of Australia's greatest athletes. She was the face of the Women's World Cup that took place in Australia in 2023. A hero, the poster girl, and why not? She's the only woman footballer to have won the Golden Boot in 3 different continents. And with 64 international goals, she is the highest goal scorer for Australia. But the case that she's appearing at trial for is set to taint her reputation. Kerr has been charged with causing a police officer harassment, alarm and distress. The charges pertain to an incident in Twickenham in London. It is said to have occurred last year. It involves Kerr and a police officer who was responding to a complaint involving a taxi fare. The same police officer has made allegations against the Aussie captain. Almost a year later, on the 21st of January 2024, Kerr was charged with a racially aggravated offence. And on February 4, 2024, Kerr denied the charge at a plea and trial preparation hearing. The trial is expected to take place next year. It's expected that the trial will last 4 days and 2 police officers will present the evidences. The news was shocking for Australian football. It's believed Kerr has not informed Football Australia herself. Football Australia CEO James Johnson seemed rather shocked by the news.
I woke up this morning like everyone else did too to the news, and that's when Football Australia found out about this unsettling event. But look, we're trying to get to the bottom of it at the moment. We've got our own questions that we'd like to know, but we also want to say that there is a process that is underway in the United Kingdom, and you know that process needs to run its course. There's no place for racism in our sport. At the same time, Sam has rights that she's going to work her way through, and we have respect for that. I haven't spoken to Sam other than a text message just to check in on her well-being at the moment, because she is an employee of ours and is also a player.
In fact, latest reports that are coming out say that even the coach of the Australian team, Tony Gustafsson, was in the dark about this, that he only got to know when he read about it in the papers. Football Australia were preparing to announce their Olympic friendlies against China, which was completely overshadowed by this development. Kerr is not only loved by Australians but is a respectable name in the football world. Her popularity grew, in fact, after Australia's run to the semi-finals of the 2023 Women's World Cup. She is a proud Aussie. A symbolic image is that of Kerr carrying the Australian flag at the coronation of King Charles. So given what's at stake here, these charges themselves are very grave. Chelsea Football Club hasn't given any statement on the matter yet. More importantly, neither has Kerr. She has not made any official statements on this matter. Kerr, in fact, has been sidelined since January because of an ACL injury that she picked up while training with Chelsea. But Kerr, along with her fiancé Christy Mewis, have been active on Instagram. Hours before the news broke, the couple were busy on their social media platforms professing their love for each other. Indications that she's not stressing too much over this. It's also reported that the Chelsea striker defended her case in the preparation hearing by saying she didn't intend to cause any harassment or distress to the officer in question. Despite her defense, these allegations are serious, and Sam Kerr finds herself in uncertain territory.
Time for Last Serve. Now, you go to Paris for the art. It's one of the things that define the city. And there is no surprise that when it comes to the official posters for the Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games that were unveiled, it would be truly beautiful, stunning artwork at play. I'd love to get my hands on one of those, but that does it here on Firstpost today. Thanks for joining in as always, and I'll see you again tomorrow with more updates from sports. Till then, take care.